Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Urvashi and I work as a professional trainer and I provide trainings in front-end development technologies. Apart from that, I help candidates with interview preparation as well. Welcome to the ninth video of JavaScript of Let's Crack It with Urvashi series. In today's video, we are going to talk about error handling in JavaScript, which is very important. In real-time coding, we use this a lot. And with that, we will see scope, that is accessibility of variables in JavaScript. This is a very small topic yet very important in JavaScript. So before we go to the video, don't forget to check out my front-end development interview preparation material. I've added the description below, so do check that out. Now let's get to the video. Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to start with scope and error handling in JavaScript. So scope determines the accessibility of variables. So variables that we create with var keyword. So how they are accessible. For example, all the variables which are globally declared can be used anywhere within the document. But when you talk about local variables, they are created within the JavaScript function. So they have local scope. So scope determines the accessibility, how developers are able to access some variables. So in JavaScript, there are two types of scope, local scope and global scope. So local JavaScript variables are the variables which are declared within the JavaScript function, which becomes local to the function. They can be accessed inside the function only, and they are created when a function is called, and they are deleted from the memory when function stops executing. And global JavaScript variables are the variables which are declared outside a function. So they become global. So global declared variables are going to be there till your page is discarded, and they can be accessed anywhere throughout the document. So let's see through the code how we declare them and how we use them. So here I have this HTML and the external JS file. So firstly, we are going to start with global variables. So I will just say var first name, let's say, is equal to Elena. And then var last name is equal to Joe. So I have these two variables. So these variables are called global variables because they have global scope. That means they can be used throughout the document. So they have global scope. Now let's say I will create a function. Let's say display name. So let's say I'm creating var full name is equal to first name plus last name. So here this variable full name is called local variable because it has local scope. That means this variable will be created inside the memory whenever this function is called. Once this function stop executing, it will simply delete the variables. And I will just run this function. So here you can see this variable, global variable. Since they are global, we can access them inside and outside the function. And this is my local variable. I'm using this variable full name inside only. Now let's say I will also console one more thing. Let's say full name. So let me just try if I can access this variable outside or not. The one which is declared inside this function which has local scope. Now let's run this. So here we will see Alina Joe is coming, line number 10, which is correct. But here I'm getting error. Full name is not defined because full name is a variable which is declared inside this function. So it has local scope. So these are the type of scopes we have in JavaScript. Next topic we have is error handling in JavaScript. Now again, this is very important. When we talk about error handling, means there are a lot of errors. It can be due to human error, the developer making some error. Let's say I created a function and I used wrong function name while calling it. So there can be any reason. There can be a wrong input by the user, maybe some errors by the programmer, the developers. And sometimes there are unforeseeable things. Sometimes we don't know what error can arise. So being a developer, we have to make sure that all the code works fine. So whenever JavaScript code is executed, different errors can occur. Errors can be coding errors made by programmer, errors due to wrong input, and unforeseeable things. So we have this four statements, that is try, catch, throw, and finally. That is going to help us with the error handling in JavaScript. So we have some built-in errors like syntax error, reference error, index out of bound error, some variable is not defined. So we have so many inbuilt errors, but there can be errors from outside as well, like these one, the one that I just mentioned. So we can create some custom errors as well. So in future, if I know that user will do something, then I have to display this very error. And definitely we have seen those errors as well in real time. Whenever we are trying to do something, we get error if we are doing something wrong. So these errors are something which are custom created and set by the developer, the programmer. So let's see through the code. Let's take some real-time example and see how it works. So let's continue here. Error handling. So error handling, let's say I have a form. So I'm creating a mini form over here. Definitely we'll study in detail about the forms, form validation in future video. But here I'm just creating a form. This input is basically to take the input from the user. So type is equal to text, id is equal to, let's say, age. So I'm going to take age as an input from the user. And I'm going to create a button here. Let's say submit button. And I will say on click. And I will say eligible to vote. That means I'm checking that my input by the user is eligible to vote or not. So I'll just create the same function over here. So the very first step should be getting the data from the user, because we are going to work on the data which is actually input by the user only. So I will write document.get element by id, and here I'm going to mention age dot value. So here I have this value from the user. Now comes the try block. The very first block that we write is try block, and then comes the catch block. So they both come in pair. That means if you're writing try, catch will also come, and you can never write anything between these. Even if you write, you will get some error. So nothing can come between try and catch. They both come like this. This is the place we catch the error. So I can just write any variable. So whatever the error that try is going to throw is catched here every time. So whatever the code we generally use to create and write this part, we write this complete part in try now. So whatever we used to write here, we are going to write the same part in try block here. So let's say if I want to check if age is greater than equal to 18, then I will just throw, let's say you are eligible to vote. That means this throw is basically used, this throw statement will throw whatever the message we want to share. So this message is always thrown to this catch block over here. And then else, if let's say age is triple equal to empty, that means there is no input by the user. So I can simply write throw, please enter age. And let's say else, throw, you are not eligible to vote. Let's say the very first case would be user is not entering any data, which is this. If user is entering some data, it will be either greater than equal to 18 or it will be some other wrong value. So it has to be a, or maybe less than 18. So all these if else will throw statement according to what user is going to enter. So this message will be thrown to this catch block. Here in ERR we get this. So we generally keep it like E. So let's say once I get it, I just want to console it. I just want to console E. And here we have finally block. Now, finally, block is something which is going to execute the data irrespective of the fact what is there in try and catch. So, after try and catch, finally will be executed, and whatever is there inside catch, it doesn't matter, it is definitely going to give you finally over here. In fact, let's say data is correct here. So I can just console it as well. Console.log of age. In that case, I don't want a catch block eventually. I want a catch block when data is wrong. So here I just said console.log of age, otherwise catch this. Definitely, if you want to display this message, we can throw this. There's no harm in that. And simply we can display this data in console, in UI, anywhere. But for now, let me just make it console. Now let's execute this. Okay, this full name is not defined, line number 16. Yes, this will give us error that we have already seen. Now it is expecting some data, let's say 20, and I will click on submit. Okay, so here this page is refreshed. Let me just say type is equal to part. So here you can see 20 and 20 is coming. That means greater than 18, that is this console and then this console. So 36 and 23. 23 and 36. Let's say user didn't enter anything and clicked on submit. So I got this message, please enter age. Now same message we can display in UI or in console. This is how we can create custom errors. Now generally this error handling is done a lot when you are getting the data from the API. There are some codes that we get from the backend which user will never know. So simply we just do error handling, that if this error is received, then display this very error in the UI. Let's say if I'm receiving 404, then how you want to display that error in the UI. So 404, I think if you will see any website, if there's a 404 error, every website has their own way of displaying that error. So simply we can handle all those things here. Now beside this, we have some reference errors, syntax errors, some built-in errors as well, and some error handling. And through error handling, I can create my own errors as well. So this is error handling and local and global scope in JavaScript. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel. Do share it with your friends, family, aspiring developers, and any working professional who want to hone their skills in front-end development. And do check out my interview preparation material. You can come to my YouTube channel, see the videos for free, and you can definitely prepare for interviews at a minimal cost using my interview preparation material. I've added the description below, so do check that out. And thank you so much for watching my videos.